Bad Company, to be brutally honest, is an exploration of self-inflicted isolation, addiction, and fractured identity where REN and Chris Webby transform personal demons into poetry through unflinching lyricism and masterful visual storytelling. And a massive thank you for the immense generosity for those folks displayed on screen who get to enjoy bonus perks and benefits as YouTube channel members and patrons. Okay, Inpatient, Bad Company, REN and Chris Webby, here we go. Nope. Who are you? Are you a thief? I got that ice cold blood pumping under my skin. Oh, hi Chris. He's a dancer. Oh, more dancers. Oh, molecular level, I like that. Oh. Interesting bar from Chris Webby. This is a vibe, I like it. Chris Webby was spitting some very, very profound and telling bars, so I just want to take a look at that. So we start with Chris Webby, and it sounds like he's just describing recklessness, right? But wait, there's more. Because he is constructing an entire mythology around it. The opening image that he conveys of ice-cold blood pumping under my skin, it just immediately establishes a character who feels emotionally refrigerated, I would say, and somewhat detached from ordinary restraint, while the repeated confession that he uses is that he is causing trouble again. Now, that to me carries the weary familiarity of someone trapped in a cycle he recognizes, but he cannot escape it. And then he moves on, because he crowns himself the CEO of the Bad Company. So he turns self-destruction into an organization in a way, a kingdom of misfits and vices. And the imagery of shuttered windows and locked doors suggests that there's, his presence is something both feared and inevitable. You see, there's this line that pops up that really struck me. It's about losing his mind on this molecular level. And it's particularly striking because it reframes psychological turmoil as something embedded in the very chemistry of his being. And one could only look from the outside in and say, well, from a vocal perspective, if you listen to the way he's phrasing it, it lands with a grim, almost sardonic confidence that makes the confession feel disturbingly sincere. And then the verse sort of just pivots into addiction with heartbreaking candor. He admits that there are substances he loves as much as my family members, before twisting the notion of family into a dark coping mechanism. And we know this because family is what gets you through the storm, right? And for him, those substances have become surrogate relatives. So the storm imagery that he gave us earlier, it follows with rain and lightning illuminating the sky. And it's externalizing his internal chaos to some degree. And the admission, I'm a mess, arrives without ornament or defense. And perhaps the most poignant metaphor is built all these castles in the sand, but I can't fight that tide, because it acknowledges ambition, creativity, and effort while recognizing their fragility against the relentless forces of addiction, as well as time and consequence. But by the time we come to the end of the verse, when he asks us to remember why, he is not seeking absolution, He is preparing a justification as though the performance itself is both confession and defense, which is brief, and it's delivered by a man who knows the tide is coming, but continues building anyway. Okay, so let's keep it going. Chris Webby has set a very, very good foundation here. Okay. I'm a threat to myself. That's interesting. The dancers are also bodily articulating the lyrics in a way. Okay, patients running after security guards. Oh gosh, okay, that was REN. I didn't know where to pause, but I want to take a look at the chorus. It was also lyrically very, very cool. Okay, so the chorus, and I'm a big fan of it already. It's remarkably effective because it strips away the bravado of the verse and replaces it with something profoundly more intimate. And that for me would be self-awareness. And then, of course, the title Bad Company suddenly reveals its double meaning. On the surface, it suggests the people one surrounds oneself with, yet here the most dangerous companion is the one staring back from the mirror. And it's the image of talking to himself, and that image of talking to himself is quietly devastating because mirrors traditionally just symbolize truth, reflection, and identity, right? Yet instead of finding reassurance, he finds confirmation of his own deterioration. The repeated admission that he uses, I'm a threat to myself, is delivered with an almost resigned cadence, you know? And that emotional restraint makes it land with even greater weight than if it had been shouted, let's say. And musically, the chorus functions as an anchor, simplifying the lyrical density of the verses into a mantra that lingers long after it's sung. So it's allowing the emotional core of the song just to breathe. And I like the other line that he uses. I never cared about the doctor's orders. I just played with the hand I got dealt. Now, that's particularly nuanced because it blurs the line between defiance and fatalism in a way. He is rejecting help out of rebellion, or has he simply convinced himself that his circumstances are immutable or unchanging? And that ambiguity is what gives the lyric its potency from my perspective. And throughout the chorus, and this is the chorus where it's just Webby, he isn't asking us to excuse his behavior or to romanticize his struggles. Instead, he's asking us to acknowledge the greater reality that sometimes the greatest conflict isn't with society, critics, or even addiction itself, but with the version of yourself you can neither outrun nor silence. And it's a hauntingly candid refrain that transforms the song from an anthem of rebellion into something far more human. An admission that the most corrosive company we can ever keep is our own unresolved mind with all of its issues. Okay, let's keep it going.
Yeah, I'm a threat to myself. I carry my weight down this open road, rattling bones. And every step I take, my muscles shake, but I stumble on back home. This life's been cold.
Oh, REN.
Solid I've known. Now tell me just what the fuck is beginner's luck? 'Cause I'm a veteran of being alone.
I like that line. Veteran at being alone.
I don't act like I'm supposed to.
I love it when REN sings.
Misery loves company, but I'm too goddamn anti-social. They say I'm bad company. Yeah, I'm a threat
I know nothing about dancing, but this is rather lovely. So the security guard. Oh, and there's the logo. Okay. Interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed this. The lyrics, these guys write so beautifully. It's just something else. It's a different kind of album. Okay, so here comes Ren. And man, he has such an extraordinary gift for making emotional exhaustion just feel tangible. And this verse is nothing short of a masterclass in that ability. And he paints words with his lyric. And you notice this very early on from the beginning of his first lines. He creates this sort of opening image, carrying my weight down this open road. He evokes the sort of timeless symbolism of life as an endless journey. And yet, there is nothing romantic about that pilgrimage. His rattling bones and trembling muscles suggest not only physical fatigue, but the slow erosion of the spirit itself, as though every step has been earned through sheer perseverance rather than good old-fashioned hope. What I particularly admire is how Ren juxtaposes vulnerability with the razor-sharp wit. And you see this in the line coming up. What the fuck is beginner's luck? Because I'm a veteran of being alone. Now that is simultaneously darkly humorous and profoundly tragic. It sort of reframes loneliness as a profession, a discipline in which he has accumulated years of reluctant expertise, transforming isolation into something almost institutional, which makes sense when you consider their name being Inpatient. And vocally, stellar. His delivery leans into that weary conviction, allowing the rhythm to drag ever so slightly behind the beat in some places, which reinforces the sensation of someone carrying invisible burdens. Okay, I've got the lyrics beside me just in case you were wondering what I'm looking at. But after that comes a wonderfully subversive inversion of the old proverb, misery loves company. And rather than seeking solace in shared suffering, Ren dismantles the notion outright, confessing that he is too goddamn antisocial. It's an astonishingly revealing line, to be completely honest with you, because it acknowledges a paradox many people quietly understand. Even when we long to be understood, pain just often persuades us to retreat further into ourselves. And in that moment, the title, yet again, Bad Company, takes on yet another layer of meaning. So Ren isn't simply suggesting that he keeps bad company. He has become estranged even from the companionship that misery itself is said to provide. So really the song is a portrait of solitude so complete that isolation ceases to be circumstance and instead becomes an identity, rendered with the kind of lyrical elegance and emotional honesty that has become one of Ren's defining hallmarks. And I say Ren, but Chris Webby as well. Brilliant songwriting, elevated lyrical understanding and depth. This album has been nothing short of excellent thus far. Okay, well, that's all I have time for, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please do like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it everywhere you can. And if you'd like to support the channel, all of the links to my PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, Super Thanks, YouTube channel membership are in the description below. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Please do be kind, be gentle, be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care. Cheers.